Hi, take two now that I've made sure I was covered up. So, last night played Hades till about 1:30. Climbed in bed. Um, don't know when I fell asleep. I had an alarm set for 10:30. That went off. I said nope. No. Set one, rolled one back to 11:30. That went off. I said nope. Um, Woke up again around noon. Could smell lunch cooking. Like I'm just gonna lay here. And then it was only 1:30 when I got out of bed. So we are making improvement. If I can continue trending in that direction, I will be happy. Um, got up, played more Hades, um, put foggers under the house for mom. If you're not familiar with that concept, they're generally used indoors. They're basically bug repellent. Um, but since we live in a double wide, or since we live in a trailer, you've got that big insulated space underneath where bugs like to live, and the bugs that live there eventually find their way into the house. So every now and then we put foggers underneath. The smell does not come inside. It does not affect us at all. The only time you smell them is when you're putting them in, and once you've got the siding put back in place, you don't smell them anymore. We do those every 3 or 4 months, and it keeps bug populations down without having to spray too heavily inside. The only things we really have to spray inside are around the window units mostly, and around like vents in the bathroom and stuff. Um, yeah, I did that today. Been putting it off forever because I'd get up, see the thing, be like, I need to do that. I'm gonna grab something to eat and then do that, and then I come in here, eat, and then sit, and then it'd be dark. So yeah, that took a while to get done. A lot longer than it should have. Had a few pretty good runs in Hades today. Again, I am consistently getting to the third level, um, and even better, consistently getting to the boss on the third level. And quite a few runs today, more than not, cleared it. Got to the last boss and just kept dying, man. Multiple times died on the first phase, twice died on the second phase. The second time I was so close and had such a good setup. Um, but basically, the way I'm playing it is there are little achievements within the game that you basically complete to unlock extra resources. Some of which that are hard to get, and I've kind of just been doing runs to fill that out, and that's worked well. And occasionally those runs will turn into, oh, I think this run's gonna go somewhere, and then it doesn't. Multiple times I've just blown it in the last area. Stop doing that. I'm right here. I'm right here. Calm down. Okay. Um, so anyway, every time I think it's stopped, it starts back. It bugs the piss out of me. Okay. It's probably still going to do it, so I'm just going to try to ignore it. Besides, I'm sure anyone, even me watching this back, isn't necessarily watching so much as they are listening, so maybe it's not a big deal that I'm telling that to myself so that I'll just stop paying attention to it. Nah, okay. Um, Immediately notices it again. I'm done. I'm done. I'm done messing with it. Okay. Did like 4 runs today, I think, and then just like the uh, the carpal tunnel started to set in. So I'm like, I'm gonna take a break from Hades. And by that I mean I've been watching Vinny play RimWorld, and I kind of just want to play RimWorld again. So I'm playing RimWorld again. It's going okay. Playing on middling difficulty with Randy Random just to see what happens. I half expected a wipe by now, but it's been a ride. I threw in a good handful of mods, mostly quality of life stuff, like being able to immediately replace things instead of having to disassemble and then place a blueprint. Now, you want to replace the wood walls that you're going to use early on with things slightly less flammable, just lay a blueprint over it. And the colonists will take it from there. Little things like that. Um, Freezers, like actual freezers, like, the type that you would see, like trunk freezers, so that I don't have to build entire freezer rooms. Um, this is for the sake, one, it's just easier. Uh, Easier to plan that way, where you don't have to keep expanding a room, and you can just build more freezers, and you don't have to. Sure, you're going to have a room kind of assigned to that, but you know it doesn't have to be sub-zero temperatures at all times, or else your food's going to go bad. Um, did installed a mod that just basically doubled stack sizes. I'm getting some musical surround sound here, and a bongo started happening over here, and it was like, what is going on? And everyone's asleep. uh, God, this music, RimWorld music is so good. Um, Also got wall lights, which were slightly less impressive than I expected, but still, lighting that doesn't take up floor space. Um, a lot of late game medical stuff, a lot of late game stuff to do with mechanoids, that I'm not going to see for a while. Some early-ish stuff, like useful columns that do things. So columns that are also light sources, columns that are basically trade beacons, so that you could just stick. If you make a giant storeroom, it's going to need columns anyway. Stick this column in instead, and it just acts as a trade beacon. The little ones that mark areas for orbital trade, that is. I'm blanking on some of the other ones. There's a combat one that I don't know if I'm going to use, just because, well, I don't know, late game, I've never really built much of a death trap, because the existence of sappers just make them sad for me. I've tried to do fortified entrances before, like in my last game, and but I did it so late that at that point every other raider had sappers anyway, so I was like, what is the point? Um, Downloaded an overhaul for mortars that, instead of just having a flat accuracy chance, it is affected by the shooting or intellect control skills, so that mortars are useful. Just a bunch of little quality of life stuff like that. There was another one that I'm forgetting that was pretty great. I'm blanking on it. Anyway, I only went in with the intent to get that swap thing. I kept finding other little ones that let colonists carry more than one thing at a time. Like, they have an inventory, a small inventory where they can carry like food and stuff on them, and this lets the game use that for hauling. So it's really useful early on when your dumbass colonists just want to carry a single food item or something like that, you know, or it has to be the stack of four. Now the cook can essentially bring most of it instead of having to make 3 trips. The cook can kind of bring all of the materials at once. I was looking at a factory roller mod that like basically would have let you do Infinifactory levels of automation. And I'm reading through it and I'm like, I'm gonna get so lost in this. And besides, it's super late game, and by the looks of it, it's fairly stable at adding in later. I'm gonna take a pass on this for now, and maybe if I get balls deep in Rimworld again, I'll do that. It's worth mentioning that when I pulled Rimworld up on Steam, I've only done one major run through on Steam before. I had it a little bit early access before back when it didn't even, like, it wasn't even on Steam yet, and so it was just a standalone application. I played it then some too. This is like well before 1.0 though. But I did a Rimworld run around the time I last rearranged my room, which was sometime like late January, early February. Well before like quarantine and stuff. But late enough that shortly after I rearranged my room. No, never mind. The day I rearranged my room, I also cleaned out my old window unit and it quit for a little bit, but it started back. Like it just kept tripping, and I opened it up, let it dry out, and it ran for another couple of months before it started to die. I was trying to peg it by the temperature because I remember my air conditioner beginning to die, but it was not that hot that night, so no, it was still fairly early in the year. Point is, 82 hours in Rimworld, so that's how long it took my last colony. It's also worth noting I turned off save scumming, save scumming. You know, in recent years I've reattributed that to Vinny, even though it was absolutely a term before Vinny, but it's mostly because of how interwoven into his normal vocabulary the word scum is. Well, like, scum, yeah, that's Vin. That started with Vinny, but no, that save scum does predate him. he's like, the one off the top of my head is his last, when 1.0 of Subnautica came out. His Cyclops was the Scumclops. So. And somewhere, like, in a hidden link that you can only pick up from the chat in his normal website, or like when he puts it in a tweet that he deletes later. Scum is where he hosts some streaming. I don't know what service it is, but it's the name of the stream room he hosts occasionally when he wants to watch movies or TV or stuff like that. With chat. I almost watched Existenz. It's a David Cronenberg movie. I'm pretty sure it's Cronenberg. I didn't get far in it. I was already not feeling great that night, and I didn't have to get far in it to go, this is gonna be a bit much tonight, isn't it? Just immediate with the flesh and the meat sounds, and I was like, no, I'm not feeling it. I just sat down with some food. This is not a movie to eat to. Anyway, I got a couple of things I need to do before it gets too late, and I want to get a shower tonight. So while I've taken this break, I'm gonna go ahead and get those taken care of before I end up back lost in RimWorld. So thank you all. Catch you tomorrow.